How much better are the Lions now than they were before the draft? We discuss.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is the Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on a Monday, April 29th and a Tuesday, April 30th. The draft is now in the books, and in the past, the Lions did a pretty nice job. City did an amazing job. We'll get into all of the draft and everything that is associated with the Detroit Lions, what took place this weekend, all of that today here on the program. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Shout out to our everydayers who are out there. Met many Lions fans downtown on Thursday and also on Friday when I was down there for a little bit. Appreciate all of you checking us out. Please subscribe to our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Despite some people believing we lost a lot of subscribers lately over some recent guests that we've had, we actually are over 11,000 subscribers now on YouTube. So thank you for watching and checking us out for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. The podcast today is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I got a competitive side, and it's a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go now for free on the App Store or on Google Play. You can follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, the Matt Derry Facebook fan page, and again on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. A lot to get into. I want to discuss the city and just the presentation and everything that went on Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Detroit. We got to get into that. The day 3 picks we've not discussed. Last I talked to you, we were on Friday night, late night after the Ennis Rakestraw pick. So let's get into the rounds 4 through 7, shall we? And we'll get into that coming up. Some undrafted free agents that the Lions snagged on Saturday. Couple that caught my attention we'll get into. And an observation that I made over the weekend that I think some Lions fans might not like, but we'll get into that right here on Locked On Lions. All right, let's start with this. If there's anybody that was in Detroit, whether you were traveling from Ann Arbor, whether you were traveling from Saline, whether you were traveling from Traverse City, whether you were coming in from Port Huron or Windsor or Sarnia or out of state, Ohio, Chicago, saw a ton of Bears fans. What can you say about our city? What can you say about Detroit and the state of Michigan? Like, we kicked ass. This city did an unbelievable job. The people that visit Detroit and the Detroit Sports Commission and all these people that put this event on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, to get over 750,000 people breaking records in a big way. Nashville, Chicago, New York, all of these other cities that have had the draft did not have the kind of crowds, did not have the kind of energy that we had in this town. This was phenomenal. And so everybody associated with the draft, the Detroit Lions, and yeah, I'll say it, team president Rod Wood and the folks on the business side, the folks in promotions and public relations and partnerships, all the parties, the security, Detroit police, the city itself, everybody did an unbelievable job and should be commended. We showed out. Detroit showed the national, on the national stage, showed what this town can be. You know, the lights looked good. The buildings were lit up. The city looked clean. It was clean. The fans had a good time. There was no major incidents that I'm aware of. The food tasted good. The beer went down smooth. Like, everything was awesome. And you had former Lion players. You had, political leaders. You had just leaders in the community. You had Eminem. You had all these people. And just everybody was smiling, having a good time. And I just thought you had to start with this. People that were doubting that this town can entertain such a massive event. All the doubters were proven wrong. It was a whale of a job. It was great. Now, I know the NBA had representatives in town. The NHL had representatives in town to see if we could handle a big event. This town can handle a big event. The only thing that's missing from this city are box hotels, the Hiltons, the Marriotts, the Holiday Inns, the Sheratons. We need more of those so that we can get the NBA All-Star game and the NHL All-Star game and the Super Bowl again and have everybody staying within walking distance and vicinity of all of these great places, all the parks and everything else that goes on that is available to the people in Detroit. I know I talked to a few people that had to stay in Dearborn, a few people that had to stay at the airport, a few people that even stayed in Windsor because there's just not enough of these box hotels in the city, but we're getting there. Got to do better in that department. But other than that, I thought the town did a great job. So that was awesome. As far as the draft goes and what you think, what you want to know, what I think of what Brad Holmes did. Again, it's hard to argue the job that Brad Holmes did again. He was creative. I think the first two picks, now that I look back on it some more and really take a close look, the Lions secondary and their cornerbacks were a real weak spot last year. And Brad Holmes, to his credit, brought in a majority of cornerbacks to work out in Allen Park and then ended up picking two of the top, five at least in most people's minds. Now, the Lions are going to tell you the two highest rated cornerbacks that they thought on their board were Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw Jr., and they got them both. I think Rakestraw is going to have a hard time finding the field this year. That's why I'm not giving it an A, but you never know. Carlton Davis, whom they picked up from the Bucks in free agency via trade, is in the last year of his deal and has been injured the last few years. All right, so there's a concern there. Emmanuel Mosley, who they brought back, has been injured 2 years straight and has barely played. If he can't come back from the torn ACL the second time, they've got they've got depth. They've got guys who can rotate in and play. Ennis Rakestraw Jr., lasting till 61, is a steal. Do I think he's going to be great this year? Tough for rookie corners to have a great first season. But I like what the Lions did right away, getting those first two guys. Now, as far as the rest of the picks, there's some I really liked, and there's some I'm scratching my head over. But let me tell you right now, let me start with what I thought was ridiculously awesome. And that was in the 6th round, the Lions moved up, traded for, and I knew this was where they were going. And at 189, took Makai Wingo from LSU. Now, John Eads, who is a local guy here in Detroit that went to U of D Jesuit High School, went to Syracuse, and is at a TV station down in Baton Rouge as a reporter and an anchor, was in town for the draft, covering the first round with Jaden Daniels from LSU and Malik Neighbors from LSU and all those LSU guys. Brian Thomas, the receiver. But the minute the Lions got Makai Wingo in the 6th round, moving up to 189 to get him, John's texting me. I'm texting John. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, Makai Wingo was still there in the 6th round? If he had been healthy last season and not injured, he would have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I really believe that. Pass rushing D tackle, can generate pressure, can play all over the line. Is not just some big bodied guy. He'll start off as certainly a backup with this team, but he's good. And had a pick 6 last year along the D line, and I just thought, wow, the Lions needed some more help up front. You could never have enough defensive linemen. I think they're a little bit thin on the interior of the D line after Reeder and Aleem McNeil. Josh Pascal's been all right. Kaminsky had a rough year last year. They're not bad players. Don't get me wrong. I like Josh Pascal. But Onzarike, Broderick Martin, we don't know. Getting Makai Wingo and letting him learn from the likes of DJ Reeder, bug down here, DJ Reeder and Aleem McNeil, I thought was awesome. That was my favorite pick of the day 3 selections. Really, really liked that. I thought that was excellent. 2 others I was mid on, as the kids would say. The one I liked also was getting an offensive lineman. You're never going to argue with me about grabbing an O-lineman late in the draft. And the Lions got a pretty good guard in Christian Mahogany out of Boston College with pick number 210. I love what Brad Holmes said. He called him a dirtbag. He said he's got some dirtbag in him. He said he's one of these New Jersey guys who doesn't take a lot of crap. So he'll come in, he'll compete with Awashika and Sorsdal, and maybe, just maybe, could become a starter in a couple of years. Because as we know, Kevin Zeitler is on a 1-year deal. But I like the pick of Christian Mahogany. Need depth along the offensive line. You just never know. And so I anytime you can get a defensive tackle and a guard late in the rounds that can play, that are proven players at the college level, BC being in the ACC, and of course LSU in the SEC, I'm all for that. Picks I kind of scratch my head about. I will explain those to you coming up next. It's a Monday edition of Locked On Lions, folks. Tomorrow, the legendary Trevor Sikkema from Pro Football Focus, their draft insider, who's phenomenal, is going to join us tomorrow. We will do that tomorrow, but we'll talk more about day 3. And the guys I'm a little wary of that the Lions took. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we'll see. We'll do that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. All right, folks, let's talk to you about FanDuel. Playoff time going on right now. NBA and NHL, 3 NBA games tonight. You want to bet on those? Baseball in full swing. Tigers got rained out, but there's other action for you. Place your bets at FanDuel on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. A lot of action going on right now. Tons of games. Hockey playoffs. Rangers sweep the Capitals. Should the Wings have been there instead? Well, they've done better. All sorts of things you want to bet on, you can at FanDuel. All right. Slap shots, home runs, slam dunks, all in an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. You want to bet on the Suns of firing their coach? Maybe the Cavs? You could do that at FanDuel. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel is America's number one sportsbook and the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And while we're at it, let's tell you about our friends at Gametime. Folks, it is very simple, very simple. You're looking for tickets to an event, even if you're thinking about going to something the night of or the day of, best place to get it is at Gametime. Gametime is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. They got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. Pick out any specific games or matchups that you'd love to attend. That's what they told me to do. I would love nothing more than to see Knicks and Sixers go 7. Cavs and Magic maybe go 7. You want to go to a game 7. If that series does go 7 and it's down the road in Cleveland, you can get tickets at Gametime. Get them right on the app. All right. Once the one thing you do when you get on the app is you check out that view from your seat and you know exactly where you're sitting. Pivot right, pivot left. It takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. It's our friends at Gametime. I'm Matt Derry back with you. It is a Monday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen. And of course, please subscribe and follow us and like us on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Had a fun week last week. Had a big week this week. Again, Trevor Sikkema is going to join us. We're also going to hopefully run down Andrew Siciliano this week as well and get folks' thoughts on what the Lions did in the draft. Couple of picks I thought were head scratcher, and Brad Holmes was aggressive. All right, Brad Holmes, most grades, and I saw Sporting News, Sports Illustrated, ESPN. A lot of people had the Lions at an A minus. A couple people had them at a B plus. But all in all, folks liked what the Lions did, especially getting Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Couple of picks that I certainly thought were a little bit of a head scratcher. Number one. The Lions going into day 3 weren't supposed to pick until the 5th round. They had a 5th round pick, 2 6th, and a 7th. Out of nowhere, Lions package some picks and a number 3 next year to move up into round 4 at pick number 126 and select tackle Giovanni Manu out of the University of British Columbia. So here's the thing with this kid. He's humongous. All right. He's enormous. He's 6'8", 350 pounds. And I know there's some offensive line experts out there that are talking about great technique and everything else. But I don't like trading future draft capital, including a 3rd round pick next year, for a player that didn't play really in college. I mean, he played Canadian college football at the University of British Columbia. And the Lions admit he's a bit of a project. Yeah, they loved his tape. Yes, they figure he's part of the future. I said it last week. Could the Lions be drafting Taylor Decker's replacement? But there's no guarantees that Giovanni Manu, coming from Canada, is going to be ready next year to play at this kind of level. Taylor Decker's contract is up after this year. My guess is the Lions are going to want to keep him around another 1 or 2 years. Decker may ask for 3 or 4. Look, the Lions right now are in a stalemate with Jared Goff. We know that. They got Amon-Ra signed. They got Sewell signed. Where's your quarterback? So a project like this that is an enormous guy, but also using a future 3rd round pick to get him and moving up to 126 in the 4th round. Couldn't you have gotten him in the 5th round? I thought that was a little bit head scratching. Then, as I predicted weeks ago and I've been talking about, the Lions got Sione Vaki from Utah, the safety turned running back who is everything that the Lions look for in a player. Winner, tough, gritty, team player, does whatever it takes. But the Lions traded up again into the 4th round to get him when most teams had him at a 5th or 6th round grade. But the Lions were desperate to grab him, and they did. 6 picks after they got Giovanni Manu. When they announced Sione Vaki going to the Lions, they announced him as a running back, and I'm like, wait, what? Because everybody had him listed as a safety in every draft book and in the Beast with Dane Brugler and everything else. And he played safety with the Utes. But last year, when Utah's running backs all got hurt, they put him at running back, and the dude flashed. I mean, he had some big games. But Jahmyr Gibbs can be on the field a lot. David Montgomery's on the field a lot. There's nothing wrong with Craig Reynolds. Come on, Craig. Craig Reynolds is a great backup. I think Sione Vaki is going to be, the Lions said they love what he did at running back. They love the fact that coaches went to him and said, can we use you at running back? Can we make the switch? And all he did was perform. But I think the Lions are looking at him as a jack of all trades right now. And let's get to training camp. Let's put him at running back and let's see if he can do it. If he can't, we can move him to special teams and safety, which this team needs depth at that spot. But I think there's something there that the Lions like about him at running back. But the question is, when you're trading up and trading future draft capital in the 4th round to get him, where's he going to play? We would argue last year, Jahmyr Gibbs, who was the 12th overall pick a year ago in the 1st round, wasn't on the field enough. So that's why I'm a little bit, couldn't you have gotten him later? So a running back safety that you traded future picks up to get in the 4th round. I think he's going to be fun to watch in the preseason. I think we're going to love I think he's going to be the new Mr. August, Sione Vaki. I think we're going to go nuts for him in August. I just don't know how much he's going to play running back on this year's team. So those were a couple of picks that I was a little bit surprised about, to say the least. But we'll see. Brad Holmes, it's hard to argue against when Brad Holmes sees a player, it's hard to argue against that player. There's something that he sees about some of these guys, right? When they took Ife Melifanu and said, we're going to convert him, and look at how much he developed this year. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was a 4th round pick. So I'm going with Brad Holmes, but I got to be honest with you. Didn't love trading future picks to move up to get this guy. But there's something about him they like, and maybe he'll turn out to be an excellent backup safety, special teams guy. We'll have to see. And remember, with the new kickoffs rules, he could be back there. He's got some speed. So keep an eye on that as well. Couple of UDFAs I want to discuss. We will do that coming up next. That caught my attention right here on Locked On Lions. A Monday edition, Trevor Sycamore will join us tomorrow. I want to give away what Trevor's grade for the Lions was. We'll do all that tomorrow right here on Locked On Lions. But first, let's talk about our friends at Monopoly Go. Yes, I have told you guys about this. My wife is addicted to this Monopoly Go game. She absolutely loves it. Loves it. Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. All right. Look, there's so many different games online that you can play and on your phone, but I'm telling you, Monopoly Go is like addicting. It is so much fun. They got unique stickers you can trade with a friend to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. There's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. It's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench. Download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on with Monopoly Go. All right, folks, Monday edition of Locked On Lions. What a great show that the city of Detroit put on. That is for sure. 2 undrafted free agents that were not, obviously, if they're undrafted, they didn't go draft. 2 UDFAs that I think are of note that the Lions picked up on Saturday evening. Number one is Isaiah Williams, the wide receiver from Illinois. If you watched any Fighting Illini football this year, I'm not sure why you would, you noticed that their offense wasn't very good, and it's Illinois football, all right? But number one, who they moved around everywhere, slot, in motion, handed him the ball, threw him the ball deep, about 5'9", but he's got nice speed, and he just knows how to play, was Isaiah Williams. And I looked up and said, wait a minute, the Lions haven't drafted any receivers? Who's going to take over for Josh Reynolds? Is it just going to be DPJ? Are they going to sign a veteran wide receiver? Are they going to bring in a Jamal Agnew or somebody like that? And they went out and got Isaiah Williams from Illinois, and I really like this kid. Really good football player. They gave him $240,000 guaranteed. They think he's going to play on the team. They think he's going to make the team. Last year, they gave Mo Ibrahim, the running back from Minnesota, $100,000. And he got hurt a couple of times. $240K guaranteed to an undrafted free agent. That's around the salary that a 7th round pick makes. So Isaiah Williams is somebody to watch. Again, a lot of speed, not a big guy, not a 6'2", 6'3" guy or anything like that, but he can play. I thought that was intriguing. I like that pickup. The other one that I found interesting was, yes, the Lions have not, now at least for now, have competition for Michael Badgley at kicker, as they have signed James Turner, the former Michigan kicker from this past year, who of course had transferred over from Louisville. James Turner was money for Michigan this year, except anything past 50 yards, it wasn't his thing. Doesn't have a big leg. This is not somebody that's going to be banging through 62-yarders like our guy in the UFL for the Michigan Panthers, Jake Bates. I still think the Lions are going to try to get Bates. They have to wait until the UFL season's over. But James Turner intrigued me because you know me, and if you've been watching this podcast, I've been saying it. The Lions haven't addressed the kicking situation in 4 years. They've never had that money guy, the guy you're relying on. It's been, Patterson and Badgley, and where's my list? I always keep my list handy of the kickers. Randy Bullock, Austin Seibert, Santoso, Rosas, Patterson, Seibert, Eberle, Badgley, Rosas, Ficken, Patterson, Badgley. I mean, they've gone back and forth. Remember they had Zane Gonzalez and Matthew Wright. So James Turner was definitely accurate at Michigan. I still think they're going to go get Jake Bates from the Panthers. We will see. All right, my last thing, and this is going to upset some Lions fans, and I know what a lot of you are going to say on the comments on YouTube and on my Twitter and everything else, but bear with me here. The Lions and what they've done for this city and for this state over the last 3 years and transforming this town into a Lions town where everybody's in jerseys, they're rallying around this team. The team won 14 games last year. You can't argue it. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender. No argument. Okay? What I saw over the weekend on Friday and Saturday, where the general manager and all of the front office are in matching positional villain sweatshirts, and then on Saturday, they're all wearing Dan Campbell jerseys. Hey, it was Rod Wood's idea. I thought it was hokey. I know you're going to kill me for saying it. No, there he goes. Get off my lawn, guy. It looked a little middle school. The Lions now have arrived. Why are we a costume party now in our war room? You look like Halloween. You guys are winners now. You're winners. The Lions are winners. Dan Campbell is a winner. Brad Holmes is as good a general manager as there is right now, especially when it comes to the draft. But we're putting on a costume party now? Hey, positional villain sweatshirts. Let's all wear matching hoodies. Like, what is this? Arena football? That's what an arena front office would look like, wearing their matching hoodies. I thought it was hokey and lame. I'm going to spend that time on it and move on. If these guys draft all Pro Bowlers this year and it remains next year, you can wear bodysuits like George Costanza. I won't care. But optics from me when I saw it on the screen, I thought it was a little hokey. All right, tomorrow, Trevor Sikkema is going to join us from Pro Football Focus. He has been their draft expert. Trevor does a great job. We're going to get him on tomorrow. Find out what he thinks of the Lions draft on a Tuesday Locked On Lions tomorrow. Make it a great day, everybody, and evening. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.